Hey, YouTube. So I'm just going to wait for y'all to join in. We're continuing the Destiny readings from yesterday. How y'all feeling today? Hope everyone's feeling well. For those of you who are unfamiliar with South nodes and North nodes, you can find those in your birth chart. Your South node deals with the gifts and the lessons that you've already learned in a previous lifetime. And your North node symbolizes the lessons that your soul needs to grow and learn for this particular lifetime. So who's watching? Who's on? Hi. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. I'm trying to see if anyone else comes on because I know a few people from yesterday were waiting to get theirs done. But I don't want to have people waiting. So I'm going to get started with the first one. And then whoever watches the replay, you will see your reading on here. Let me clear my atmosphere a little bit. If I can get my lighter to light it. It's burning enough. Okay, so all of the dates that I'm doing, that I'm reading today, are in the description box. The first one that I'm going to read will be The Way of Originality. And I know Miss NYC, she was waiting for hers to be done yesterday. So Miss NYC, I'm starting off with yours and anybody else born between these particular dates. And the dates are from August 10th through December 29th, 1963. Those people fall under this category. Also, people born between March 22nd and August 9th, 1982. Those people fall under this category. Also, people born on October 31st through December 31st of the year 2000 fall under this category as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with it. I'm going to show you guys a few celebrities who are also born on the way of originality. So their soul needed this path to evolve and grow. All right. The way of originality. And a few of the celebrities that were born. Say hi, y'all. The people who watching. Hey, guys. But a few of the celebrities that were born on this particular path, one of them is Bob Marley. So if you were born on the way of originality, Bob Marley was born on this path as well. We got Bob Marley. Hi, y'all. And what were you guys' birth dates? Because I'm going to do the way of originality and the way of consideration. And I think Chelsea, I think you fall under the way of consideration. December 17th. What year, Dory? What year were you born? Okay, yeah, you fall under consideration. Okay. 1987. Let me see which one you fall under. You said December 17th, 1987. Okay, Dory, you fall under the category of the path of passion. So I'm going to add you to the list, all right? Because the people, I came back for some people from yesterday, but they're not on yet. So I'm going to do the people that are here. But Miss NYC, Miss NYC, I'm going to go ahead and do her because she was waiting from yesterday. I don't see her on here, but I'm going to go ahead and read hers, and then I'm going to do the way of consideration. Aw. Then I'm going to do the way of consideration, and then Dory, I'm going to do yours, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and read for the people who are on this particular path. So if you guys know anybody born between those dates, then, refer them to this video. We got Bob Marley. He was born on this particular path. Let's see who else we got, guys, before I get started. We got Marilyn Monroe. She was born on this particular path, too. Some of these people, I don't know. But we got musicians and singers. Bobby Short, he was a singer and pianist. He was born on this path. Got a few baseball players that were born onto this path as well. Brad Pitt, he was born on this path, the path of originality. Let's see who else. Yeah, some of these people, I don't know the rest of them folks, but all right, so let me get started. I'm reading this for Miss NYC. She's not on right now, but I know she's going to watch it, so I'm going to get hers done because she's been waiting since yesterday. All right. So for those born on this particular path, when you look at your birth chart, your south node should be in Capricorn 2, and their north node should be in Cancer 2nd. And they're going from determination to the unconventional. Those on the way of originality are here to dwell into and assimilate the content that lies in the realms of their unconscious. As career-oriented and ambitious as they are, those on this karmic path must overcome their fear of being different from others in order to pursue their individuality. To do this, they must undergo a process of examining their inner life, dreams, fantasies, and imagination. As it is there that they will discover the wealth of inspiration that will allow them to live an authentic life. Swimming in the waters of the unconscious and discovering the fertile world of imagination that exists there in the form of metaphor, symbology, dreams, and reflections is a frightening prospect for those on this karmic path. Wow. So just imagine what Bob Marley and Marilyn Monroe were feeling like. Shatavia, hey girl. Okay, yours is September 12th, 1987. I'm going to check out and see which one that is. Thanks for joining in, though. So I can just imagine how Bob Marley and Marilyn Monroe, two people who were born on this path, how they felt living their life out in the public eye. Okay, so where I was at. Swimming in the waters of the unconscious and discovering the fertile world of imagination that exists there in the form of metaphor, symbology, dreams, and reflections is a frightening prospect for those on this karmic path, even though it is this path's core lesson. So the core lesson for the people that are born on this path is vanquishing their fear of their own unconscious. And the goal for these people would be to tap into their creative fertility. So the people who are on this path are being advised to just tap into their subconscious mind, because that is where all of their creative juices come from. Hey, how are you? Thanks for joining. I'm doing good. Are you at work listening? Oh, okay. So that is their lesson. It's to tap into their unconscious and not to be afraid of their unconscious mind. And let's go into their gifts. The gifts of the people on this path is that they're resourceful, they are determined, and they are unique. But some of the pitfalls for the people who are on this path is they can be hysterical, they can also be fearful, and they can be obsessive as well. Okay. Though they will never give up their orientation toward the practical, they must eventually use it to draw on the imagery found in their imagination and to give it material form. Y'all make sure y'all thumbs up this video for me, y'all. The men and women on the way of originality come into this lifetime as rather literal minded and material oriented souls. Hardworking, they enjoy power and prestige and are often very concerned with status. They have little time for anything other than the pursuit of their goals. Possessing a philosophical bent, they are intrigued by the theoretical or technical. But it is facts and figures, not feelings, that most interest them. Gifted with tremendous patience, they will spend many years climbing the ladder of success, rung by rung. Often, those on this karmic path subscribe to the notion that the end justifies the means. This is partly because they do not deal well with failure or its consequences. Their thinking is so linear that anything that doesn't fit into the structure they have created for themselves frightens them. First and foremost, they are fearful that the more unusual side of their personality will come to light. Caught up in traditional notions of success, they're afraid it will knock them off their social register and leave them without the security of social or material resources. Thus, they become quite adept at hiding their more unique personality traits and conforming to what's expected of them. Oh, wow. These souls often use their tremendous determination to keep themselves squeezed into the little boxes in which they believe they must live. Of course, over time, such repression can become quite stressful since it engenders a deep insecurity and a certain amount of inner pressure as unexpressed parts of the personality clamor for expression. Wow, ain't that something, y'all? 2003. All right, I got you. I'm going to look yours up. These men and women often live out their own more peculiar sides by surrounding themselves with eccentric or even unstable individuals. The great lesson of this karmic path is that these individuals must move past their fears to confront and come to terms with the shadow side of their personality, all that is unusual or unsavory, so that they can step more fully into their true selves. The watery realms of feelings and imagination that are the provenance of the sign of Cancer. So see, in their past life, their last path in the past life that they lived before this one, their soul developed towards having Capricorn ways. But in this particular lifetime, they have to develop the ways of Cancers, which Cancers are very nurturing, motherly like. You know, they like to feel safe and things like that. So they have to tap into those parts of themselves. The great lesson of this karmic path is that these individuals must move past their fears to confront and come to terms with the shadow side of their personality, all that is unusual or unsavory, so that they can step more fully into their true selves. The watery realms of feeling and imagination that are the provenance of the sign of Cancer means that they must come to grips with their great discomfort with anything that can't be defined, classified, or organized. The journey into the lunar world is a very threatening one for those on this karmic path, since they sense that their sense of self will be broken down in the process. This is both necessary and good for these individuals, given their tendency to cling to their identities so assiduously. The transformation of this path requires having the courage to probe into their peculiarities and bring them to light, thereby recreating their sense of self. Delving into the depths of who they are is not always easy for them, however. Often securely armored against deeper awareness, they may require years of work to break down their defenses so that their true natures may be revealed. Oh, wow. Where was I at? Because I looked away and said, oh, wow, and now I lost my place. Da, 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 da. So their true natures will be revealed. Honey, honey. Lord, 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 where am I? Sorry, y'all. I lost my place just that fast. Okay. The journey is well worth it, however, since ultimately the men and women on this karmic path will learn about symbols, metaphor, and the great rites and mysteries of being human, birth, life passages, and death. There's a very real danger when those on this karmic path refuse to do its work. So powerful is the psychological content of those on this karmic path that when repressed too severely, it can become quite twisted and explosive. Mm. If such content is allowed to fester too long, it may emerge in ways that are destructive, not only to the individuals on this path, but also to their loved ones, their social circle, and even society at large. Those on this path are urged to work with a professional who can act as a mediator or guide to the underworld of psyche and feeling. Moreover, having taken the initial steps, those on this path will periodically need to return to their inner lives, both to check in with themselves and for renewal. As those on the way of originality give themselves over to their process, they will succeed in mining gold from their unconscious that manifests itself as fresh and original ideas, inspired visions, and even a new approach to living. On this karmic path, even a scientist or executive must become a poet. Aww. Delving into the ideas and images that lie buried within them can result in great bursts of creative energy. As those on this path progress, they will begin to manifest in the outer world what they have encountered by going into their inner world. Their homes and environments will suddenly be littered with all manner of symbolic and unusual imagery, objects, and artwork as their need for a material representation of what they have learned exhibits itself. Ideally, they also begin to explore their creativity, possibly beginning to write, paint, sculpt, create music, or experiment with photography, thus acting out an important aspect of the Cancer archetype, that of joining the conscious and unconscious realms by giving birth to new ideas. So, what people on this particular path did I do 1991? What Miss McLeod? What month and day of 1991? Because you might fall under one of these categories I'm doing today. So the people on this path have to learn to release the need for material security. And the reward for them would be that they will, the joy of unlocking one's inner resources. So that's what they have to learn. They can thus become the midwives of their own and others' artistic expression. One of the suggestions for the people who are on this path is that they have to realize that not everyone can be controlled. Chaos can be creative. Never hesitate to ask for guidance. Awareness can be the highest calling. Some on this path, the 19th, June 19th. Okay, I got you, Miss McLeod. Some on this path may find themselves drawn to illuminating the workings of the unconscious and may become guides to others as psychologists, therapists, or healers who journey to the nether regions of the psyche. True fulfillment will come to those on this path as they learn to give form or expression to the images found in the unconscious, thus blending their objective or material orientation with their newfound subjective understanding. They may even use their tremendous resourcefulness and business sense to manifest their creativity in physical forms that are commercially lucrative. All right, those on the way of originality, okay. Though they will never lack for ambition, those on the way of originality will find their ambitions transformed. Fear of losing the security of the corporate world can be a powerful force to keep them from doing the work of this path. However, by choosing freelance work or self-employment, they can in the end do work that is closer to their hearts. Though many of the challenges of this karmic path will take place in the professional arena of life, the real transformative process will occur on an inner level as the individuals on it feel their way toward a new self. Along the way, they may have to grapple with the disapproval or discouragement of others. Consequently, a supportive and appreciative circle of friends and acquaintances is a vital importance. Of course, some on this path may go too far, changing too radically and too quickly. Whether lifestyle or hairstyle, clothing or speech may cause those on the way of originality to risk rejection due to what is perceived as antisocial behavior. Often it works out best if their mates are a bit unusual or original as well. Marrying someone who prefers a traditional lifestyle may hold those on this path back. It is better if, as a couple or family, they have the potential to live a non-conformist lifestyle, one that stresses personal expression. What is most important is that a polarization between Capricorn 2 roots and Cancer 2 goals does not result in a personality torn between workaholic dedication and self-destructive or hysterical rebels. Balancing the material and the subjective is the real challenge of this path. This karmic path is remnants of Greek myth of the earth goddess Demeter. Demeter's creative progeny, her beloved daughter Persephone, was carried against her will into the underworld by its ruler Hades. In her grief and despair, Demeter went in search of her daughter and neglected her duties, causing the earth to be barren. To save mankind from famine and to return fertility to the earth once more, the other gods brokered an agreement whereby Persephone spent one third of the year with Hades, but the rest of the year with her mother. Symbolically, Persephone's return signifies the end of winter, while she represents the seed that returns to grow in the earth at that time. But more than that, Persephone also represents her mother's creativity. Somehow, this creativity was cut off or disowned by the mother, ruler of the material world, and it was only in the seeking it in the underworld of the unconscious that it could be returned to her, accompanied by the seeds of fresh ideas. Thus, every year a return to the underworld must occur for the earth mother to renew her creative fertility. Oh, wow, those on that path. So, this book is awesome because not only does it tell you celebrities who are on this path, but it also gives those who are on this path crystals to work with. I know, right? Wow, isn't that something? But it also gives you crystals to work with. So, those who are on this path, I don't know if I'm saying this crystal right, so I'm going to go ahead and spell it for y'all. And it's spelled CHAROITE. Chairite, hopefully, chairite, something like that. But it helps to align the upper chakras, opening the connection to all that is. Through this bridge, the individual will find the courage and trust to live from the authentic self. So those who are on this path really have to learn to live from their authentic self and a few other things as well. So that was pretty interesting. Wow, for those on this path. And that was the path of originality. And we're going to go to the path of consideration next. I'm going to read off the dates for the people born on the path of consideration. So people born between May 12th and September 30th of 1952 are on the path of consideration. Also, those born between December 22nd to December 31st, 1970 are also born on the way of consideration. January 1st to May 12th, 1971 are born on the way of consideration. Those born August 3rd to December 21st of 1989 are also born on the way of consideration. And last but not least, those born on March 14th through August 2nd of 2008 are also born on the way of consideration. Let me look really quick and see, because we got somebody who said 1987. What was that? September 10th, 1987. Yeah, she was born on the way of passion. Okay, that was Shartavia. And then 2003, September 22nd, 2003. The way of innocence. The way of innocence. Did I do that yet? No, I didn't do that yet. Who is that? Molotov cocktail. You're born under the way of innocence. So I'm gonna be doing that. And if yours doesn't get read today, remember I am continuing this this reading until I get the ones who already, commented done. And then Miss McLeod, you said June 19th, 1991. Mastery. Okay, Miss McLeod, yours is already in the lineup to get read today. So yours will get read today. Let me make sure I did that right, because she did say June. May, June. Yeah. So Miss McLeod, yours is the way of mastery. But I'm gonna go ahead and read the way of consideration because that was next up. 348. And Miss Dory, what was yours? Did I do yours first? 1987. Oh, it's two 1987s. Passion. Okay, yours is passion. Okay, cool. All right, let's see what celebrities were born on the way of consideration. Oh, a few that I recognize right off the bat. So we got Tom Hanks. He was born on the way of consideration. We also got Robin Williams. He was born on this path. Let's see who else. Billie Holiday was born on this particular path, the way of consideration. Of course, it's naming a whole bunch of other people that I don't really know like that. We got Paul Pee Wee Herman, the actor / comedian. He was born on this path. Christopher Reeves was born on the way of consideration as well. Ooh, Larry King was born on this path. And Flip Wilson was born on this path too. Cicely Tyson too, guys. Check out Cicely Tyson. She was born on the way of consideration too. All right, let's see who else. Ooh, Erykah Badu, y'all. She was born on this path. Erykah Badu. Okay. That's what's up. So we got a few celebrities that were born on the way of consideration. So let's see what, their soul came here to learn and develop on this in this particular lifetime. So, for those of you who are familiar with your birth chart, when you look at your birth chart, on the section where it says South Node, it should say Leo. It might not have the 3 on there, but it should definitely say Leo. Okay. So, in your past life, for those born on this path, in your past life, you develop a lot of leadership skills. Okay. And this particular lifetime, it says you're going from leadership to acceptance. So that is your lesson. The core lesson for those on this path is releasing the ego's need to judge. And the goal for these people on this particular path is to develop an ongoing, thoughtful consideration of others. So, Erica Badu, Robin Williams, Cicely Tyson, Tom Hanks, these people had to learn the same lesson. So let's see. The individuals on this karmic path are here to develop consideration for the feelings, viewpoints, and lifestyles of others. The type of understanding or sensitivity implied by the way of consideration is more than a one-time ability to have empathy for another. What is important is continuity. That is the development of an ongoing capacity to think of others from moment to moment. First, one must come open to and accepting of views or feelings other than one's own. Second, one must consider these views or feelings in one's dealings with people, whether one agrees with or understands them or not. Such a process requires a certain detachment, since it requires a thoughtful or contemplative regard of another as a prelude to understanding. Moreover, developing the art of reflection will aid those born to this karmic path to see their own actions and their effects more objectively, thus enabling them to think before they act more and more frequently over time. So some of the gifts the people who are born on this particular path have are the fact that they can be heroic, affectionate, and inventive. But some of the pitfalls for the people who are on this path is that they can be domineering, insensitive, and judgmental. So back to what it says. Cultivating a more open and accepting point of view toward others rather than judging them is the first step toward regarding them with consideration, compassion, and thoughtfulness. The core lesson for the individuals on this karmic path is to free themselves from making ego-related judgments. It is judging a person's actions, goals, opinions, or feelings as right or wrong that often leads to a lack of consideration. This is because most people do not value or take into account anything they have once invalidated or dismissed. Moreover, judgmental tendencies often come from an attitude of superiority that is ego driven. The men and women on the way of consideration would do well to guard against such a stance, as they do possess such a commanding manner and have such a self assured approach that they tend to dominate those around them, if not ride roughshod over them. This karmic path requires those born to it to give up their rather larger than life egos, in particular, their tendency to believe themselves to be infallible. None of this is very easy to accomplish, since deep inside, those on the way of consideration believe themselves worthy of kingship, and they act this out by attempting to rule, handing down judgments, and meting out punishments. As they struggle with the core lesson of this karmic path, they may even go so far as to believe that their brand of justice is actually in the best interest of others. Obviously, their struggle with ego and judgmentalism may take some time, and patience may be required before humility begins to emerge in these souls. Developing a greater ability to detach and reflect is also necessary. The men and women on the way of consideration are born with a headstrong, passionate approach to life and love. Burning with emotional intensity, they often rush headlong into situations without fully considering the results. Moreover, these individuals are especially sharp tongued and have a propensity to be hurtful in their directness. Prickly pears, they have an extreme sensitivity to anything that smacks of criticism, and this causes them to go on the attack, often verbally. What's more, they have an uncanny ability to really stick in the knife and turn it in others' most vulnerable spots. However, learning to stop and think before they speak and becoming more aware of the effects of their words or actions on others will occur over time. It is ironic, however, that such individuals as these should place it is ironic, however, that such individuals as these should place such a high premium on being accorded honor and respect, yet find it so difficult to accord others the same. Of course, they never see it this way. Ultimately, these powerful individuals will release their need to dominate and to inflict their opinions on others at all costs and will learn to use their considerable charm and facility for wit or humor to spare the feelings of others or to deflect situations that might otherwise be hurtful, helping others over rough spots or making up their own mistakes or omissions. Well, that was a lot to read so far. A good strategy for those on this karmic path is to acquire sufficient objectivity to shift their view of themselves as being at center stage and to take on the perspective of one who is standing on the sidelines and watching the action, thus enabling them to see what other players may need in their own role in the action. Of considerable benefit to the men and women born to this karmic path are their innate heroism and sense of justice. Truly wanting to do the right thing by the right people in their lives, they are often pained when shown the ways in which they have been thoughtless. If they can develop sufficient objectivity to recognize without judgment and understand the needs, desires, and greater goals of those around them, they may in fact become everyday heroes for others, offering kindness, thoughtfulness, and small, continuous doses of caring. The great potential here is for Leo 3's fiery passion to be transmuted into a kind of compassionate love of humanity that is of the universal kind. The great creativity that is innate in those on this karmic path can be put to use to serve others in a myriad of inventive ways. Ultimately, those on this karmic path will open to the notion that they are in fact part of something much larger, not just a greater social whole, but also a universal oneness. Luckily, the idea that all human beings are equal is not anathema to them. They are exceedingly democratic in many ways, though they may not be aware that deep down they believe they and they alone are superior to the rest of the human race. As their development progresses and they learn to accept and tolerate others, it is not unusual for them to become champions of the underdogs or fighters of injustice in any form. They may involve themselves in humanitarian efforts, charity, or other forms of service. These somewhat extreme personalities must, however, take care that their propensity for judgmentalism does not take another form so that they begin to go overboard when defending the rights of others, pointing a finger at anyone they feel is not sufficiently compassionate or thoughtful. In other words, becoming bullies, but justifying such shaming of others as caring for those less fortunate. It is the realm of relationship that most of this karmic's path processes will be experienced. Often, those on the way of consideration find that fate places them in the company of a wide variety of people, particularly those who find especially difficult. those whom they find especially difficult to accept or even intolerable. It is typical for those on this karmic path to be born into families or to give birth to children who are totally different from them in temperament and outlook. Here's the bosom of family. Here in the bosom of family is the crucible of many difficult lessons. Their children in particular, thanks to the fierce love that those on the way of consideration feel their progeny, their progeny, will help to teach those on this karmic path about acceptance. Other important lessons will include setting aside selfishness and self centered aims in favor of learning how to give others what they need. Those intimately involved with these individuals in the way of consideration are apt to go through some considerable trials by fire as their loved ones walk in this karmic path, vacillate between aggressive and passive behavior. One moment ruling with a heavy, often ruthless hand, only to exhibit awareness of kindness the next. In addition, mates of these individuals may have to wait quite a while before their husbands, wives, or lovers realize that a double standard is not exactly considerate. Those on this karmic path may lose those they love due to their overbearing attitudes, intolerance, or inconsideration before they learn the lesson. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. By transferring their belief in themselves into a belief in others and universal laws, those on the way of consideration will grow spiritually and find that their moral values have matured. Many will also find that the workplace provides a source of growth. These powerful individuals often achieve positions of authority. Thus, their struggle to deal with the autocratic tendencies and to understand, support, and appreciate their co-workers will fall neatly into the work of this karmic path. They do enjoy working side by side with others. It is important for those involved with these souls to remember that, try as they may, they will never truly rid themselves of their ego's needs, thus giving them a certain amount of acknowledgement and appreciation when they have made the effort to be considerate will go a long way in helping them along their karmic path. A symbol of this karmic path might be that of the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. Lacking a heart, he joined with his fellow travelers to search for the wizard, a symbol of the power of greater consciousness. In the end, by overcoming his fears and allowing himself to be more vulnerable, he reveals his humility, his love, and his heroism and discovers that he has a heart after all. Wow. Whew. That was something. So the crystal that is recommended for those born on this karmic path is rose quartz. Rose quartz is said to possess the vibration of unconditional love. Holding this stone shifts the focus from the judgment of the mind to the empathy of the heart. So people who are on this path are being recommended to work with the crystal rose quartz to help them stay in tune with their heart chakra. So the next one is the next one in line was mastery. Oh wow, that's something, Chelsea. Ain't that something? So the next one in line that was in order was mastery. So who is on here? And I know we got passion up next after mastery, but the one in line was mastery. Who is on here? Where's that paper at? Where did I write that stuff down? Oh no, that's not it. I think it's on the back of one of these papers. Hold on, you guys. Because the one up next is mastery, but if no one is on here, 1991. Who said they was born in 1991? Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and read Mastery. The people born under the way of Mastery is the people born November 30th to December 31st of 1953, January 1st through April 19th of 1954. Yes, Miss NYC, I did Originality first for you. So you kind of going to have to watch the replay to see, but it was definitely an interesting read. Now I'm moving on to those born under Mastery. Hi, Miss Champagne C. So those born July 11th through November 29th of 1972 are born on the way of Mastery. February 20th through July 11th of 1991 were born under the way of Mastery. And October 2nd through December 31st of 2009. Also, we got January 1st through February 19th of 2010. Those people were born under the way of Mastery. So I'm going to do that. And then Dory, I got you. I'm going to read Passion next. And that's going to be the last one. Remember, if yours didn't get read today, it will be continued on tomorrow. August 14th, 1988. Let's see. Because see, this book is cool. This is my key right here. So when you guys give me your birth dates and stuff, I have to flip here to find out what your path is. So 1988, August 14th. August. Yours, Miss Champagne, is the way of devotion. So you were born on the path of devotion. And devotion is actually going to be one that I'm doing tomorrow because I had a few people from Facebook comment and they actually fell under that. So devotion, Miss Champagne, will be the one that I'm going to do first tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing this again at 12 noon tomorrow. So if you want to see yours, if you want to hear yours read, make sure you on here tomorrow at 12. Okay. Because it was quite a few other people that were born under that path as well. So let's go to the way of Mastery, and then we're going to do the way of Passion. So Mastery, because it was somebody, I think it was Kiara. So Kiara, if you watch the replay, this is yours from yesterday, and you fall under the category of Mastery. So 284. Let's see what celebrities were born on the way of Mastery. 284. Okay. We got John Travolta. He was born under the way of Mastery. Frederick the Great, whoever he is. We got Paul Robinson. He was born under the path of Mastery. Child, some of these people, y'all, I don't know. Y'all might know him. I know who Gene Wilder is, an actor, comedian. He was born. Diane Carroll. How many people know who Diane Carroll is? She was born under this path. Okay. But yes, I definitely didn't forget about you, Miss NYC. I read yours first. Let's see who else was born under this path. Ben Affleck was. Cameron Diaz. She was born under this path as well. Grant Hill, the basketball player, he was born under the path of Mastery. James Herriot, a veterinarian surgeon, he was born under that path. Howard Stern, he was born under this path. Wow, y'all. Guess who was born under this path of Mastery? Oh. Y'all see who that is? Oprah. Oprah was born under this particular path. So that's cool. Let me go ahead and get started. That's dope. They have quite a few celebrities, known celebrities, that are born under these particular paths. So we get to see what, they soul needed to develop as well. All right. So Kiara from yesterday, I don't know if you on here, honey, but this for you and for anybody else born under those dates that I just said. All right. So the people born under the way of mastery, when you guys look at your birth chart, your south node should be in Cancer 3, and your north node, which is what you need to develop in this particular lifetime, should be in Capricorn 3. So you're going from persuader to dominance, okay? And the core lesson for those on this path is finding and studying with a mentor. The goal is mastering a craft or art. Oh, well, speaking of Oprah, she definitely mastered a craft, didn't she? Wow, I'm dropping my alabaster shell. It'll be all right. Anyways, let's get started. Those on this karmic path, are here to lay claim to an area of expertise and make it their own. Wow, I can definitely see how Oprah did that. Although money and ambition are attractive to those on the way of mastery, their orientation is not necessarily materialistic. Rather, their goal is to develop a talent or skill to a level of mastery. Achieving such a lofty aim often requires these people to renounce or sacrifice other desires or interests in order to give all their energy to their prime focus. A strange blend of idealistic and realist, reserve and extroversion, and the serious and comic, they are able to focus on their goal with savage intensity. Those who get in their way are likely to be trampled underfoot, usually intentionally. However, once they perfect themselves in their chosen skill or master a particular talent, these individuals have an even more difficult task, since true mastery requires manifesting a unique vision or utilizing their talent in a unique way. Thus, ideas, ideals, and creative vision are important since they must be made into solid reality or utilized as a philosophical backdrop for the individuals on this karmic path to create form from purpose or concept. Their souls come from a place of deep subconscious awareness of the imaginal realms, the waters of life from which all creativity springs. Their task is to mold or craft such an oceanic perspective into a practical one by dispensing with the emotion attached to it, engaging only the core ideas that they fish out of those waters and applying them to a practical end. Honing a skill to the level of craft requires that those on the way of mastery embark on a path that can be likened to the artisan guide of yore. Beginning one's education in a specific field, first apprenticing oneself to a master, then graduating to more and more responsibility, and ultimately becoming a master of oneself. Oh, wow. Although the guild system is no longer operative, it serves as a model of education for those on the way of mastery. Once the individuals on this karmic path select an area of study, it behooves them to find a mentor akin to the masters of yore and to learn their skills from them. Searching for, engaging, and interacting with such an individual is a necessary basis of learning the mastery called for by this karmic path. Coming into this lifetime with the skills of observation and persuasion, these men and women will need to enlist both to find the best teacher for them. First, by keeping their eyes open, they will need to discover who in their circle has the talent and the capacity to serve as a mentor. Then they will have to engage their gift of persuasion to talk that particular person into taking them on, and in so doing, sharing all the secrets that they possess of their profession or field. I bet Oprah did that. Hi, Miss Tarot Heaven Angel. Hello. How are you? If you comment your birthday and the year that you were born, you might find that you already fall in one of these categories, but if not, I am continuing this tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. Hi, Nicolina. You have to put your name as well on here. For the men and women who travel it, this karmic path also means that once expertise is acquired, the apprentice must eventually leave the mentor behind in order to move on to make his or her own mark in the field. Patience is key, for it will often take years to master a craft. Thus, coming into one's own on this path usually requires the ability to have the long breath. Fortunately, those on the way of mastery come into this life blessed with tremendous diligence and dedication. I can definitely see that in some of the celebrities that are on this particular path. Part of the process over the longest haul is for them to transform their self-image from one of the student to one of the mature master. No matter how long it takes, when the time comes for them to go out on their own, they will know it. They will also know precisely how to put their hard-won craft to the best use. Once they have mastered their craft by working humbly with an older and wiser person, negotiated the delicate process of leaving their mentor behind, and hung out their own shingle, so to speak, those on this karmic path will proceed smoothly and successfully in cultivating professional success. Having the native talent to persuade others, they will be good at marketing themselves. However, they are less interested in using their persuasiveness to manipulate opinion and more in presenting their work or product in the best light, letting its quality speak for itself. The next stage of maturity for these individuals may be tapping into their own Cancer 3 roots by learning how to return to the well of creativity, inspiration, in order to replenish their supply of ideas. Those who walk this karmic path will come to understand that they were taught when they were young. That is, that craft is just one part of the process required for success and fulfillment. The other is finding a unique expression of that craft. At their Cancer 3 root, these individuals are often stimulated by an underlying insecurity that pushes them to achieve or overachieve. However, the Capricorn 3 desire for success is fulfilled by a different force, that of a need to overcome obstacles. Thus, implicit in this karmic path is an urge to dominate. Those on the way of mastery must beware of allowing the negative aspects of their insecurity to overwhelm their personality. One lesson that must be learned by those on this karmic path is how to proceed with grace and dignity and to mature calmly in the knowledge that they will reach their goal. Otherwise, their insecurity may express itself as an overblown ego, putting off those who might help them on their way. As much as those on the way of mastery may love to dominate their field, this is not a path of leadership. The more successful of them will restrict their professional efforts to objective pursuits, whether commercial or artistic, that do not necessarily involve directing other people. They are much more successful at perfecting their own techniques and methods than telling others what to do, except in exceptional circumstances. The best thing for them is to work on their own. The men and women are able to challenge themselves over and over again and have no need for external stimulation to urge them forward. So the people on this path have to release the tendency to be a workaholic. Also, the reward for them when they do that is the joy of perfecting their own craft. It is likely, and I'm coming, Dory. I got you, girl, because you stayed on. So I definitely got you. You still rocking with me, Dory? Because if you are, I got you next. I know these can be kind of long-winded. All right, girl, I got you. We on this is the last portion for the people that are on the path of mastery, and you next, honey. So it says, it is likely that in later years, they will themselves become teachers or mentors, thereby completing a karmic circle by sharing what was given to them early in their lives. Those on this path generally set very high standards, not only for themselves and the quality of their work, but also for others. Thus, their interpersonal relationships are often fraught with overly high expectations. They do best when attracting others of equal ability with whom they can work on their projects. Although many will place those on the way of mastery on a pedestal, rarely will this go to their heads, since they have a need to prove themselves again and again in their own eyes and those of their associates. They thrive not only on the responsibility of being a role model, but also on demonstrating their ability to give of themselves in a warm hearted manner. They will always be acutely aware of how they appear to others and will cherish their image highly. The importance of their commitment to the standards of their craft and life is one they gradually realize on their path. They value it highly, and it often becomes the cornerstone of their existence. Probably the hardest thing for them is being thought badly of by others or having accusations of shoddy workmanship or underhanded or immoral methods leveled against them. A social forum for their ideas or work, whether comprised of professional colleagues or just plain friends, is just a ticket for these work-oriented individuals. In fact, in some cases, it is basic requirement for their happiness and fulfillment. They do have a rather charming common touch that often grants them the ability to make others laugh or at the very least smile at their characterization of human foibles. Phobos. It is undeniable that those on the way of mastery will rarely surrender their need to focus their all on their work. Thus, they may give up on meeting one single life partner. So much of their energy is shared with colleagues, friends, and followers that the dynamics of such relationships can often satisfy their social and personal needs fully. I can definitely see that in Oprah. Because she like these some of these folks just work, and don't even have time for intimate personal relationships because they're so busy working, and working on their craft. The image that best describes these karmic paths is that of a student and a Zen master. The student tries to attract the master's attention and gain his approval, but to no avail. Only the student himself can achieve enlightenment after being guided by the master or awakened by a sharp intuitive slap. Subsequently, the student takes the master's place. So, the suggestion for the people who are on this path, which is the path of mastery, is try to be kinder to yourself by occasionally lowering your standards. Remember to indulge in fantasy and to cultivate your imagination once in a while. So the crystal that's recommended for the people on this path is fluorite. And fluorite dispels ambivalence and encourages the individual to joyfully strive for mastery. This crystal helps one to move beyond the limits of perfectionism to experience the bliss of the mind-heart connection. Wowzers for the people on that path. It just sounds like a whole bunch of work to me. All right, Miss Dory girl. Let's get started on you. So you were passion. So let's see what page passion is on. 428. passion. And for those of you who watch the replay, I will, if you want to know if you are on this path of passion, I will put the dates for this particular role, this path, in the description box. 428 or 438 or something like that. Yeah. All right, Dory, we about to read for, this is the last one, and I'm going to continue this tomorrow. So let's see. So we got Elizabeth Taylor. She's on this particular life path, the path of passion. Let's see who else we might know. I don't know if you guys know who Woody Herman is, but he's a jazz musician. He's on this path. Let's see if it's anybody we actually know. Because some of these people, I don't know these people. My parents might know these people, but I don't know them. Okay, let's see. Who else? Jennifer Aniston. She's on this path. And Cher's daughter, Chastity Bono. She's on this. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, the country singer. He's on this particular path as well. Bill Murray. So it's a few people that we know who are on this path, the path of passion. All right, so let's get started. Let's get started. Okay, so Dory, I don't know if you're familiar with birth charts, but when you look at yours, you should be on the cusp of Virgo and Libra for your south node, and your north node is going to be on the cusp of Pisces and Aries. The core lesson for those on the path of the way of passion is learning to live each moment to the fullest. So that is a lesson for those on this path. The goal is to fully realize the experience of living. So, Dory, girl, you here to just live it up, girl. Just enjoy life, honey. So let's get started reading. Those on the way of passion. And Shartavia, I'm going to see if I already read yours, but if not, I'm doing this tomorrow. So at the same time, 12 o'clock. So be ready, girl. Be ready. But I think I might have read yours already. I'm not sure. But we'll find out. Those on the way of passion are here in this lifetime to let go of their preconceived notions of truth, goodness, and beauty, and by getting back to the basics to enjoy a fuller experience of life. The men and women on this karmic path are often born with highly refined aesthetic sensibilities and a rather detached approach to life. However, such a point of view may hold them back from more full-body experiences. Often their ideas of what should be get in the way of appreciating what is. Thus, on this karmic path, they are challenged to shed much of their idealistic baggage in order to grapple with life in its most real and unadulterated form. Those on this path are often somewhat emotionally numb. They live and love, but only according to the standards or rules set by others, rather than according to what they themselves feel. Frequently, they don't know what makes them truly happy. Some may have even given up trying to find out. The way of passion calls for these individuals to throw away all their mental constructs and, by diving into life, fully experience everything that comes their way as though for the first time. Here, they will open themselves to their own passion, indulge it, savor it, and learn from it as it gives them a more complete view of existence. Too often, those on the way of passion approach life from a mental orientation. living more in their heads than from their hearts. Rarely do they throw themselves into an experience without analyzing it first. Typically, while they are doing something, there is an inner voice commenting on their actions and making judgments. It is difficult for these men and women to simply be what is happening, to simply be with what is happening to them or around them. The detached approach of those on this path is often viewed by others as world weary or even a bit jaded. But their been there, done that attitude only does them a disservice. It prevents them from generating any real enthusiasm or energy for anything or ever trying anything new. What's worse, when feeling any sort of strong emotion, those on the way of passion frequently run away from their feelings, back into the safety of a better ordered or mental universe. Thus, the core lesson for these individuals, if they are to succeed on the way of passion, is to learn how to be in the moment by fully experiencing what they are feeling. The men and women on this karmic path must learn to approach each moment as though it were the first and only moment. They must give their all to whatever they do, and in doing so, fully explore every nuance of feeling has to offer, including the rich variety of central experience attached to it. How juicy is the apple being bitten into? What is the subtle nuance of the flavor that sets this variety apart from others? What delights more, having eaten it with perhaps cheese or chocolate? When cultivating the deeper awareness that being in the moment implies, how mundane the situation is or whether one has done it 1,000 times before does not matter. What makes the difference is the attitude one brings to it. Once those on the way of passion engage themselves in the exploration of life in this fashion, they will find even deeper layers of sensuality, pleasure, intrigue, and consciousness. This karmic path calls those on it to seek out and indulge in a variety of experiences, new vistas, and avenues of excitement. An unintended consequence may be that they will be forced to re examine most of their sacred cows and discard them, excluding their often fatal obsession with beauty. A lesson they must learn is that what is the most beautiful is not necessarily the purest, most honest, or truest. Usually, this occurs only through hard won experience, not detached analysis. It may be difficult for these men and women to force themselves down from their ivory towers and allow their hearts to take the lead. But they must do so if they are to discover the greater truths of life. Too often, these people wrap themselves in idealistic concepts that have no real bearing of what life is all about, considering themselves above all to be sophisticated. Those on the way of passion will work hard to reveal their own more untutored sides and, above all, not to be ashamed of showing a more naive face to the world. The process is apt to be an upsetting one for them, preferring as they do the more peaceful, balanced, and detached Virgo Libra state to the somewhat chaotic and contradictory emotions of Pisces Aries energy. Woo! Ain't that something, Dory? So where we at? Pisces Aries energy. Should they embark on a more fully realized experience of life, those on the way of passion will often have a sense of being reborn. Once awakened from a fantasy realm of superficial glitz to the teeming profusion of an alive and vibrant world, the men and women on the way of passion may feel inspired to share their passion with others and may prove quite elegant in doing just that. One of the pitfalls that can arise is that they may go overboard and endlessly search for ever newer and more outrageous experience in an effort to find something they haven't done before. But becoming ever wilder, more shocking, or dangerous to themselves or others is not a positive activity. Another danger in going too far is that they may arouse their passionate nature to such a point that their lives become overly chaotic. In other cases, many regrets may surface when they leave the comfort and security of a well ordered, idealistic system behind. There will be times when those on the way of passion are seized with regret and long to return to a life in which social acceptance is a given. So, what the people on the way of passion are to release is all preconceptions, and the reward for them when they do that would be the joy of being in the moment. The arena in which the lessons of the way of passion occur is invariable to the crucible of life experience. Those on this karmic path may be forced to put aside their love of books, films, videos, and music in order to break through to a more unaffected and basic existence. This may be necessarily only for a time. However, until they learn their core lesson, for after that they may return to the arts with a whole new way of looking at things. Oh, shoot. In their search for a truer reality, those on this karmic path may wish to travel to areas where people lead a more basic and unaffected life, since through such exploration, they will come closer to discovering their own identity. A whole new library may emerge in the homes of such individuals, one with less emphasis on sophisticated art forms and more on primitive ones, such as folk art, less on modern architecture and more on tribal values and back to the earth philosophies. Even a change of diet that emphasizes pure foods in place of haute cuisine may occur. The shift in emphasis from Virgo Libra sensuousness to Pisces Aries passion is also likely to occur in searing love affairs, which may very quickly put those on this path in touch with their basic instincts. Experiencing passion is one great, all encompassing love affair, isn't really the ideal way for those on this path to proceed, however. In fact, for some, it can be destructive. It is healthier to explore one's passion through one's relationship to the world than to another person. Usually, though, it is through love that these rather frosty individuals are thawed out enough to set them on their way. What is best for those on this karmic path in general is coming more closely into contact with their feelings. The way of passion may involve giving up snobbish traits and turning one's back on an overemphasis on knowing the right people and doing the accepted thing. Self expression is the key here, and friends and associates who encourage those on this path to be true uh, to eights. That ain't even making sense. Wait a minute, y'all. Self expression is the key here, and friends and associates who encourage those on this path to be true to themselves and honest about who they will be are an invaluable support. Family members may applaud their efforts to come to grips with themselves. It is these relatives who are often sought out when the going gets rough. Also, friendships previously rejected as those on this path attempted to climb upward on the social ladder may be reinvigorated. Often, the most valuable individuals to someone on the way of passion is someone who lives a more simple, natural, or basic lifestyle, reinforcing the process through their example. A series of affairs with people of this sort may be common as those on this path learn from one person and then another. Such relationships are apt to be searing in intensity and of short duration. An image that comes to mind is that of a city dweller who, seized by the beauty of a primeval lake, sheds his or her clothes and plunges into the crystal clear cold water. Diving to the bottom, he experiences a renewal of contact with nature and a feeling for the timelessness of existence. Emerging with a new sense of self, he is ready to return to the world renewed and energized in a sense reborn. One of the suggestions for the people who are on this path is stop overanalyzing. Make no assumptions. What you seek is within yourself, not in the next relationship. Develop a breathing practice. Dory, I don't know if you watch my readings, but we definitely get our breathe on before I get started. So the suggestion for the people who are on this path is to stop overanalyzing. Don't make any assumptions. What you seek is within yourself, not in the next relationship. And make sure that you're doing some breathing exercises. All right, because that really helps to center yourself. So the crystal recommended for those on this path is Larimar, which I'm going to spell it for you because I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. Larimar. So Larimar, however you say it. It says it encompasses the exquisite blue ray of the Caribbean Sea. Gazing upon this stone awakens the individual to the power and sacred ecstasy of the external now. So, whew, that was quite a ride today through all those paths. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for those of you who stuck to the end. Thank you. Remember, those of you who didn't get yours read, I'll definitely be doing them tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to start off with the path of dedication, because that was the next one. Yeah, that was the next one. So I'm starting off with that. And then Miss Shatavia, I'm going to be doing yours. And we got a few other people that I'm going to be doing too. So y'all make sure y'all tune in so you won't miss it. All right. So thank y'all for staying to the end. You're welcome. You're welcome to everyone that was able to hear theirs read today. Peace, love, and light to you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 noon. All right.